Okay, we are here talking about Catcher in the Rye up to about chapter 16. I'm Allie Klein.
I'm Megan Rice.
I'm Kyle Grady.
And I'm Xander London.
Yeah, and let's get started.
Alright, so Holden, I think, is really struggling with the death of his brother. And, that kind of makes him depressed, or very depressed. And what do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't say, I don't think he's struggling, but I'd say it's already made its effect on him.
Like, when he's depressed, he, goes back to the memories of his brother and, talks to him and, say, you can come along with us, go get your bike, or,
Yeah.
don't stay home, come with us. And, it really shows that he relied on his brother more than, his brother was kind of, moral support for him.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that
At
that's...
least 8.
Yeah. Are you thinking that that's, the source of his, kind of frustration and upset?
I think it's one of his sources, and I feel like that leads to, him being mean to others and how he's kind of rude to other people.
How he's, almost standoffish towards everyone he meets.
Yeah.
Almost what?
Standoffish.
That's a really good word for it, definitely.
Yeah.
And, I've also noticed that he is very emotionally unstable in many, areas of this book so far, especially when he is in the, doesn't pay the $10 for the prostitute he hires. He only pays $5, and when they come and get the money, he kind of starts crying because they are being mean towards him.
Well,
it kind of shows how he is kind of unstable in that aspect.
Yeah,
the guy did say $5, so honestly, it's more than...
But it's not worth crying over.
Well...
I mean, it's just $5.
Yeah, it's just, and it says he's loaded, too.
And he says, he actually mentions he's chicken, he's yellow, which he's not really,
Yeah.
Boy got red cuz squirt.
Thank you for ruining our podcast. Come again. Anyways.
Well,
Sage. No, let's just keep going.
Okay, so he's also very unstable about Jane. His when his roommate's name is Stradler, right?
Stradler.
Yeah, Stradler.
Stradler.
So when he goes out with Jane, he kind of and he comes back after coming home late. They kind of have this fight, and he's just there almost screaming and punching his roommate because he could have done some stuff to her. It kind of shows.
There's the fact that Holden really had feelings for Jane, and stuff didn't work out, but Stradlater, it's already been established that Stradlater is not a good person.
Yeah. How so?
Well, first of all, he's just your stereotypical, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing, conceited piece of... Yeah, he takes everything for granted. He makes Holden do his stuff. The fact that Holden saw something special in Jane and really respected her as an individual, whereas Stradlater couldn't even remember her name, and just a combination of factors. I wouldn't say it was entirely justified, but I don't think that everyone should be so hard on him.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about a lot of his actions.
But the way I look at it is how it just proves how unstable he is about so many aspects of his life, because all of the reactions he has, the reason he's reacting, it doesn't justify the way he is acting, because just getting home late in high school, it didn't involve a fight and punches to the face. That isn't worth it. And $5 is $5. Add another 5, it's 10.
He definitely instigates.
Not that much money.
It's difficult when it's different when you're dealing with prostitution and stuff.
But it's would you rather get
and also inflation.
Would you rather get punched in the gut or pay $5?
I'd rather get paid $5. I'd rather pay $5.
Well, you know that he would be entirely provoked by violence. Besides, yeah, he's not thinking straight. But honestly, I think that, at least in that case, there's.
Honestly, I think he instigates a lot of the fights.
I have.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
it's kind of odd about that because you could say he instigates them, but then again, no matter what, it's for a cause, even if it wasn't going to develop into a fight.
What makes you think he instigates, or like why do you think he does that? Or what's an example of when he's done that?
With what's her name in Stradlater?
For Jane and Stradley?
Yeah, Stradlater. He kind of picks the fight. Yeah.
Also with Sonny and Maurice, is that his name? Maurice? Yeah, it's a weird name for a guy.
Maurice?
He instigates that fight too by not paying the $5. Yeah, he did say $5 in the elevator, but like he could have avoided that whole incident. So.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't have let myself be punched in the gut, but the fact is that no matter what, someone's cheating and you can't just let them walk over you like that. You can't just accept, okay, well, he's a really buff pimp. Just don't do anything. You can't just establish that and have that as your views.
Yeah, I think that kind of ties back to about him like instigating the fights. Kind of ties back to what you were saying about him having a lot of pent up anger and upsetness from his brother.
Yeah, and I noticed that he doesn't really like school, and he does very bad. I mean, I think he's smart, but I don't think he tries.
Some other things about his personality that I've noticed is that, well, he says a lot about how he hates people who are phony, and he can like usually pick that out. Like he kind of sees through their fake, their BS, and but he's very quick to judge, and he's like very close-minded about a lot of people, you know.
Well, I feel like when you say quick to judge, you're not taking into account that these are all things he's been acquainted with for at least, I'd say, about half a year. So, yeah, it's quick in the book, but remember, he's telling you things that he already knows and has thought about.
Yes, with his schoolmates, but like also with the people that he met at the club and like those 3 girls.
Well, no, he's even not specific people.
He's
those
very
types of
judgy
people.
about them.
Yeah, and
had a lot of opinions.
so I have a quote here. This is when he went to the bar and he ran into an old friend of his who was dating a naval guy, a Navy guy.
Naval guy.
So it goes, and then she left. The Navy guy and I told each other we were glad to have met each other, which kills me. I'm always saying glad to have met you to somebody that I'm not at all glad to have met. If you want to stay alive, you have to say stuff like that, though. So, yeah, I think it's talking like that. Or he's talking about how he feels like that's the only way people can kind of get by in this world.
I don't think it's true.
Adding to how he says that's the only way you can get by, like, he's also, like, very insecure and, like, not very self-confident about a lot of things, like, especially with the phony thing, because, like, he could just be calling others phony just to make himself feel more confident or, like, to cover how he feels. Like, he's blaming how he feels on others, like, actions, kind of.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I do think to make up for his own inferiority could be part of it. I believe that is not the main reason. It's simply maybe an added thing.
Well, what do you think the main reason is then?
Well, simply because he's angry and not to lie, but he likes complaining about things.
Yeah, I agree. That's tied to any, like...
I said yes, but I said I don't really think it's even
tied
close
to a lot
the
of
main
things.
reasons.
I think the main reason is because he's depressed.
Oh, yeah, you like complaining about things and seeing through these things. I feel like, hey, if you can't do anything about it, might as well just talk about it.
Definitely.
Also, something that I noticed is that he, like, feels bad for people who are, like, have less wealth than he does.
Or, like, less beauty, too.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. And I thought that was kind of strange because I think he puts a lot of value on materialistic wealth.
Material objects.
Yeah.
Really? I think it's kind of the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, he certainly points out its importance in the world, because not to lie, but the world runs on that, unfortunately. But so he notices it in that respect. But to him, it doesn't really mean as much, and he honestly doesn't care. Let's say that girl who's the headmaster's daughter. He felt sorry because she's going to have it tougher in the world, but it didn't mean anything to him.
Well, he was sorry for her because of the way she looked and how she acted.
Because that would alter
Doesn't matter how you
the
look.
world. However, to him,
You still
it
get a
didn't
lot of
matter.
money.
Yeah, I think it's not that he feels bad for people who are less fortunate because they're less fortunate, but I feel like he assumes that they are sad about being less fortunate, because I don't think he understands how people could be content with having like less materialistic things. Like, I have this section here about the nuns on page 100. I am not on page 144. Give me a second. Okay, yeah, here we go. Oh wait. Okay, so some other things about his personality.